Hi everyone, my name is Sean Tusi. I'm one of the Glow 3D team members. In this video, we're going to go over how to do the settings for Dealer Plus. That will help you create a 360 virtual tour, as well as video tour, as well as complete photo sets with custom backgrounds and social media sharings and car review and a few other features. That's our more advanced level photography software. We have different settings for each of these products, but this video is more focused on how to do the settings for the initial capture. And then from there, we'll have different videos. We'll put them in the description where you guys can look into settings for video tours, car reviews, social media sharings, and all the other features. With that said, let's get started. The way you access the setting for capture is by logging to your glow3d.net account and go to settings. And here on the left side, as you see, you have submenus, and then for each section you will have a main tab where you could do the setting related to that submenu. So it starts with language. When you change the language, what it does, it will translate the specific image descriptions. So it's not going to change the entire language of the entire web and mobile app, but it will change the language the way your customers will interact. It's going to change the language of the embed. And that's what is important to most of our customers, to have a local experience for their end customers, for the person that comes to their website to purchase a car or view a car. The second one is that the production type, so automotive is the default options. And then depends on what country you are, you can choose left hand, right hand. On the capture mode, if you have a physical turntable, so you need to select this option. Yes, we do also have a physical option if you are a company or a car dealership that has a physical option, so this could be an option. If not, by default, typically we have this as walk around, which you simply need to walk around the car. The default thumbnail shows what is the frame that will be used as your thumbnail and sent to your VDP, as well as it will show where you want your 360 photo to start. So typically the one that is is set up by default, so you could just bring it to wherever you want, or just keep it the way it is to keep it as the existing. So it's very easy. You just spin it around and choose the frame you like to have. The resolution, if you are in a low internet speed, we would recommend to bring it to 2K, but if you're in a high speed internet, we'll keep it what it is. So the new captures status is that once a capture is done, if it is set on public, it means it's going to get immediately synced to your inventory management. If it is private, it is going to stay for you or your team to look at it, and if they like, they could change it. So the way they could change that, if it is set on we do most of the time, our customers just leave it on public because the speed of launching it online becomes the most important thing. So by keeping that on public, as soon as it is ready, it just gets synced to your platform. So if it is on private, the way you would change it is you go to home, and in here you will see if it is private, it has a lock, which you can easily just select and change it to public. When it is public, that's the only time that it gets sent out. If it is unlisted, only people that have the link will see it. So maybe you have a private call, you don't want it to get synced to your platform, but you want to send it to a specific customer, so you use this. It's very similar to how YouTube works. So I would say it's the same concept. The next option, going back here, so you can have default hotspot icon. So you could easily, here will show you how the icon looks and how the color is. So here you can change the icon to many options we have, or you could leave it as auto. So if it is on auto, what auto does, if it is a photo, it's going to use an icon of a photo. If it is a video, it's going to automatically use a video. So you could just keep it as auto, and you could also change the coloring based on, for example, what is the coloring in your website. If it's a purple, you just use that purple. So it's going to change that to that color. The second thing is banner. So you are able to add banners to the top and lower section and fully customize it. And the way you would do that is that you just turn it on. And for example, this is a sample for the top. And if you have one sample, you just turn it on, and it just puts the one at the bottom. So the way you could change this is that you could upload a header image. The requirement is that it has to be in this range. It has to be 1920 for the widths, and the height has to be 100 to 280. So our graphic team typically helps customers to do at least the first initial banners, but you could use your own technical team and just change this as you wish. And the way you would change that is that you could easily go to the section of our website which says resources, and you could download the banner. So you can go to resources, go to banners, and here you could choose some of the designs we have if you like to use them, and you could just download them, change them in Photoshop. So these are the footers, these are the headers, but again, you're not really limited to what we have any PNG file. So whatever that works for you guys, you could just upload it. But we typically recommend to be in a little bit higher on the edges, and as you get to the center to be higher. And the reason is that the car, as it turns around, you don't want it to sort of cover the banner or the banner cover the car. And the same scenario goes with the footer, that you could upload it and you could see how it looks. The second setting, the next setting, is overall exterior photos. So as you walk around, if this setting is off, as you walk around the car, we're going to use your walk around and automatically generates all the photos from the walk around. But if you would like to, for example, have the capture done on a separate photography for the main, typically 8 slides, the exterior overall looks, then this would become an option for you to turn it on. We do recommend to turn it on because this will give you a much higher resolution, a better quality for the overall photos, and we also fit them to the page, so we don't put them on a virtual turntable. And since the main walk around should happen where you have the photo of, like, your camera is around the height of the ceiling to give you a best experience for the 360 and the virtual turntable, what we recommend is for your overall photo to have it on a low point. So the low point is when you do the photography where the lens of the camera is a little bit lower than the door handles for most of the cars, for SUV sedans. If you're doing a super car, like a super sporty car, like a Ferrari or Porsche, what I would recommend is to have the lens around the height of the rim of the car, of the tires, because then that will give you that majestic look that we typically want to have with the sport car. So you set it up on low points, and then the low point would be for almost any car. It would just go to the lower than the handle. Typically ends up being around the belly button for average car. And then if you have a sport car, we would recommend to bring the camera all the way down to the rim height of the tire. And we do have a voice activation, which you could simply say capture. So you don't have to like sit on the ground. You can just lower your hand with the camera, you look at the screen, it's good, and you just say capture, and it's going to automatically captures, and this way you could go to the next one. So as you can select a background for your 360 photo, keep it original, make it blur. We are giving you a feature to have a separate finish for the overall photo. So if you like to have these photos that you capture, you want them to be blur, you want them to be white, that means you might have, for your 360 spin, you might have a background. But then for the overall photos, you can choose, let's say, white or blur, or use image. If it is use image, then it's going to use the same image that you have in the background of the spin. It's going to use it for the overall photos. If this is on and your overall photo is on, then you could actually have the settings done in a way that you could have the order. You could change the order you would like to capture them, right? So the way we have it right now is designed to give you a very storyline flow, but you could always decide to change them. Let's say if you always start from driver's side, very good, but then you would say, okay, now I want to do the front. It's very easy. You just drag the front up. Then I want to do this front 45 because now I'm going to sort of turn clockwise. So you could change all of that, like how you would like to do the capture. You could easily change that based on the habits of the photographer, the standard of your company. And for example, I sort of did it so that it is in a specific like orders of captures, and then at the end we'll finish here. You can also decide which one of them you want. So it might be that you don't want all 8 photos, and for example you say, okay, I want the side, but then maybe I want to have this, but I don't want to show the back 45. I just want to show like one of them. And also for the front, maybe you just want just one of the front photos, maybe this one to be here. So you could decide what you want. And then you could also, in the next tab, is to change how you would like to play them, how you like to order them. So when you have the overall photos on, because the overall photos have a better quality, for your thumbnail, we're going to use the photos you have here instead of using the ones from the spin. So what you want to do is that, and the first photo on the top is typically your spin. So let's say if the front driver 3/4 view is the one that you would like your website to show, you're going to use this, and this is going to supersede the start frame you had in the actual spin. So we do recommend turning it on, and we do recommend to set it up. The ones that you turn off is great because it really doesn't matter the order, so you could bring them low, and then you could also change how would you like to show it in your gallery. So that gives you full control over how you're going to capture it and also how you are going to display it. The next is interior hotspots view. So there are 2 kinds of interior hotspot view. So you could use a 360 panoramic. For this one, you do require a 360 camera like the one we're going to show you in the screen right now. And you could also use just the smartphone and use the ultra wide angle on your smartphone to do the capture. So what this does, it uses your ultra wide angle of the smartphone and just captures from front and back. So the reason you may want to use this is that it will give you higher speed. So if the goal that you have is high speed and you don't necessarily care about giving customers interior panoramic, you don't need any other hardware. So if the speed, minimum hardware is the goal, then this one does a great job. I'm going to show you a sample of both of these. So there's one point every time you make a change, you either have to cancel it or save it to be able to go to the next screen. So I'm going to cancel this. I'll go to the home to show you the how they look like. So this sample here is the one that was used with a 360 camera. So as you can see, you can move it around, see it from different angles, and many people like this and see this as a much better experience. But if you're doing only the 2D panoramic, so the way it would work is that it will just do ultra wide photos. You can move it around, but then you could toggle between the back view and the front view, and then these hotspot automatically still gets assigned. But what is nice about this is that really there's no requirement of any 360 camera, so things will speed up, and that might be something that many customers are looking for. So if the speed is important, then this is your selection. If the sort of a customer experience is more important, then this becomes your option. So you're going to go through the close-up photos, and we have them in 3 categories. So now here you can decide if you even want to do the close-ups or not. So these are the switches you decide if you want to do the photos. And then when you go inside each section, then you can decide in what order you would like to capture them. So here, the same order you capture is going to be the same order that gets displayed. So if you would like, let's say, the driver door open captured first, then you put it here. If you want the rear seat captured, then you put it here. The little pluses that you will see beside the images, it shows the fact that these are going to be interactive hotspots. So the other one are only going to show in the gallery, but the ones that have a plus are going to be an interactive automatic hotspot. And if you check mark, that means you want your team to take a photo of these as they go through the process. So the way we've designed it is that you as the manager, or if you're a photographer, you sit with your customer and you decide how many photos they want for exterior, how many photos they want there in the interior, and then if you're a dealership, you can decide in what order you want your staff, and you can easily change these, and this is how it's going to prompt them to take a photo. So the goal really is that the photographer doesn't have to think about what to do next. The screen will just show them, and then we'll just go to the next one and next one. And if you have this, let's say, VIN number, so the ones that you see an eye on the side of it are the ones that you could decide to capture it, but don't show it to public. So you will only be able to see it when you're logged into your Glow 3D platform. And when we're syncing it to the inventory management, we're not going to send those. Why this is important, sometimes you would like to take, let's say, photo of the damages, or take certain photos of VIN number or emission label, but you don't want to put it in the website. It's really just for your internal use. So you just do that, and this way you just set it up like this, and you don't have to think about it. So this is going to say what to capture. This is going to say, is it going to be available for people, or is it going to be just for your eyes only when you guys are logged in? And then this icon just helps you to toggle between. So the same really concept is with the interior close-ups, the same concept. And then you have panoramic. If you remember, we mentioned if you guys are doing the 360 photo, then you do have the option of adding panoramic photos like the one they showed you. You can have the panoramic from the front seat, from the rear seat. You can do it from undercarriage of the front or undercarriage of the back. The last two are more popular with auction houses. That is important car auctions that would like to see the undercarriage, or the insurance companies, but the first two are the ones that the customers can decide. This becomes a really good option if you guys do a third row seats, or let's say if you're doing a let's say pickup truck and you would like to show the bed, the view of the bed in 360 format. So this could potentially be an option you would add. Or again, if the speed is important, this will give that wow factor to your end customers. You could really save that by just having that activated. As it goes without saying, if you're in a 2D photo, obviously this section is not going to work because you need to set it up on a 360 in order to be able to change this. So these two sort of work hand in hand. You have to have on panoramic photos to be able to change this. The next is that you can do color enhancement, so we'll sort of enriches the color, and then the actual exterior spin color adjustment, you could make it to go a little bit like more colorful. Some customers like it, some don't, so it's really an option of what you guys want to use. And then the next thing is condition report. So Condition report will give you guys an option to add more information. Most of the time, dealers use this to show damages and scratches. The study shows it actually builds trust, despite many dealers think it is not a good thing to do. It helps, especially if you have a nice and clean car that has very minor scratches. It actually shows the customers that you guys are disclosing everything to them. And here you could change how you want it to look, very similar to the hotspot, how you want it to look, the colors, you could choose one of the colors we have, or do just custom color and match it to the website color you have, or any color you like for that matter. And then you have two options of showing those damages on an actual 360 photo like this, or showing it on a sort of opened up map. So when you do it on a 2D, it becomes a little bit faster because you don't have to sort of like mark it on the 3D photo. Here you just tap it and it gets done. But if you want more like a visual look, and so that the customer can see all the hotspot in the 360, and it gives them sort of like a Carvana effect where you have all the hotspot and you have all the damages in one place, and then the 360 would be here. This takes a little bit more time, maybe about a minute more overall. But then the impact is something that some people value most. But if you don't want to show the damage, I believe by default this is also always off, so you just keep that off and there is nothing to worry about. So as you scan the VIN, we will use a third-party service to get features, because we want to help you to take a photo of the features that are important. Also be able to decipher some of the basic information like make, model, and other information. So this basically does that, and what it does is that it will try to automatically correct it. Sometimes you have the VIN is not clear enough, so this by enabling that, which is on by default, will help to sort of clean up that VIN number and try to get it correct as much as is possible. So the features is that if you would like to document the features when the person is doing the photography, then this is the spot you need to turn it on, and then they can go through it and they can assign. You can say, okay, you know what, if any of these features is available, if it is on auto detect of the features, we'll just bring it up and they're going to capture it. But if you're not necessarily into selecting the features here, and you're only using Glow 3D for the photography side of things, then you can just turn this off. The same thing goes with the entertainment features and safety features. So really you want to have this on, mostly if you're using Glow 3D to determine what features the car has. If you have the feature, will auto detect the features. That is an extra charge service. What it does, it will automatically prompt the staff to do the photo. For example, if your car has a navigation, the employee may know or may not know, but if the auto detect is on, it's going to automatically pop up, show them that now you have to take the navigation, because through the VIN deciphering, it knows that you need this specific feature, so it'll prompt them to capture. But if you'd like to have a full control over the number of photos you take, so this would be the best thing, is to leave this off, because when you leave this on, as you can see, there's quite a bit of features that if it has all of these features, it may prompt them to take a photo of it. And then the last thing is that if you are a dealership, you're a manager, or you have a multi-location, by turning on the two-step authentication, you're sort of locking the settings. So anybody who has access to the account is not going to be able to change the settings. For example, your employees on the app would have access to the account, but you don't want them to change the setting by mistake. So you can just turn this on. It's going to actually send you a code to the email that is registered. You put the code and you're going to activate it. And the same way you could deactivate it. You could just go turn it off, and it is not going to ask you for. It's not going to be asking you to do the login. So we're done with the general setting. Now we're going to go over background. So in the background, you could choose what aspect ratio you'd like to have. So by default, we have it on 3:2, but you can decide to change it to any other aspect ratio. And depends on what is the inventory management you're using, what is the website you're using, what's your website design. This number really varies. 3:2 is a sort of an average, and what we typically recommend, because it will give you enough space to add headers and footers, and it will also give you enough space to really show off the car. And 4:3 give you more room at the top and the bottom, and then 16:9 it becomes very horizontal. Not much room for you guys to do any footer and header. So our recommendation typically is 3:2. Our default is also 3:2 in here. What you can do, you could choose from the gallery. We have a large library of backgrounds, and we keep adding to them. I believe we have about 200 of them. You could also upload your own. You could also download one of the backgrounds we have, do some changes and upload it again, or just upload one. Or if you have a nice photo that you think we should offer to and add it to our library, we'd be more than happy to receive that from you guys, make it work for the for Glow 3D and add it to our gallery of the options. And you could also download the background, which is, you download it, you do the changes, and you could just upload it back. So the next option is virtual turntable. So if you turn off the virtual turntable, you are not going to see the edge, right? So the virtual turntable has two sections. One is the actual edge here, and then the other one is the actual virtual floor. So by turning off the edge and the floor, so you're going to have just the finish in the back. If you would like to have the edge, then you would just turn on the edge, but it's going to show the original floor that you guys capture. So if you'd like to have the original floor, if you would like to change that, then you would just turn it on and it will replace the floor as well. You could have a dark edge, you could have a light edge, or you could have sort of a seamless, like a thin edge around this. I personally like the combination of the light, especially if you have a light. I think it makes sense for the edge to sort of match whatever you have on the floor, and then you will have your floor closest to what really is out there. And then panoramic photos. There's an option that you could decide if you want to remove the background of the panoramic photo. So that's that interior 360 photo. It's going to remove the background using AI automatically. So by default, this is on, and that covers our background. And then you have promotion photos. So what is nice about Glow 3D is that as we generate photos, we'll give you the option for you to upload some of the standards background we have, where you could go with different colors based on really which one is closest to your color. So these are the set of predetermined backgrounds that we have for you, and you could, let's say, choose, which ones you would like to add, and you just say select. It's going to add it here. You could keep adding to them. The other way you could add it is that you could just upload your own. So if you have a promotional photo that you would like to add, you add it here, and then here you decide how you want to show them. So you want them every 5 photos, or you want them all at the beginning, or you want them all at the end. And then based on the order you uploaded them, they will show in the setting. Unfortunately, we don't have the feature to reorganize this. We are adding that, but for now, the only way you would reorganize is to really just upload them in the order you want it to show in your photo. So let's say I want to add another one here. I'll just simply go, I'm just going to use gray, and I'll do return it if you don't like it. So I'll just add that. And later on, we're adding a feature where, oh, actually, there you go. The feature is here. So if you like to change the orders, there you go. You just change the order, and it will change the order the way you would like to do it. So we do have the feature to change the order as well. It's going to change the way it's going to order. So I will just save this. Again, every time you do a change, it's important you do a save. Otherwise, it's not going to save it. So default description. So this section will give you option to add default description. So this is useful only if you're using our platform as sort of a where you would like to use our virtual showroom feature, that you can add default description. So we would automatically generate that. Or if you're using us as a system that you would do the capture, you would detect all the feature, and you send all the information to your inventory management, then you would do that. If you're just doing it for photography, you don't have to do it. You don't need to use it. But then the good thing is that you could actually add description. It's very simple. You just do this. You add a title, and you would say, like, we offer like 2 years of warranty. This is the cars. Our cars are clean. Like, you could put the information you like here, and you could decide which one you would like to use as a default. So you can have multiple, and these descriptions could also refer to the promotions you have during the year, and you could simply come here and call one fall promotions, winter promotions. So the ones that is default will automatically get added, so you guys don't have to type in the description every time. So that's also very useful. You could edit it here, and if for any reason you don't like it, you can simply delete it. So car specs are what we are going to show you if you would like to, let's say, sync it, whether you're doing inbound sync from inventory management or you're doing outbound sync. Means you're gonna start with window ciphering on our side and then send the information to inventory. So we can cover both of those. You could decide in what order you want the staff to enter the data, or in what order you want them to show. So that changes the order. You could also turn them on and off. We also have an option that if there is something that you don't see here and you like to have on the spec side, not the feature side, but you could easily add here and add fields that is specific to what you guys are using. So you can simply add this or change the orders. So that's also a very useful feature. But again, if you're just using us for photography, this is not something you would really need to worry about integration fees. So this is if you are the customer, there's a one-time integration fee that you need to sort of confirm it. There's a check mark. And once you have that, you will be able to access to it and be able to do the integration. So Embed is how your customers are going to see the actual virtual tour in your website once this is embedded, or any website for that matter. And here you could control to see what you would like to show. You can control the theme color of like the top menu, what color you want it to look like, what's the color of the text. So again, you could use a custom coloring. Footer gallery is basically all these gallery photos down here. So you could turn them off. So it's just going to show that one image, or you could turn it on and it's going to bring it in here. You could say in what position you want it to be. So if you like it to be on the lower, or you want it to be on the left or right, you could basically choose that as well. So the next option is zoom. So we have an icon for zoom that customers can actually zoom in and out, or the full screen, or showing the hotspot. So you could decide you want to show the hotspot or not. So most of the time we'll recommend just keep them available. And then here you can choose the language for the button. This typically follows what you have in the setting, but you could also change that. Let's say, for example, I'll change it to French. I'll refresh. As you can see here, it just uses puts a French language here. And this is like when you move the mouse, how fast you want this to move. So medium, we have 3 different speeds where you could use that. I'm going to bring back to English because that's what I believe we want to do, or actually the best is cancel. So that's how the embed works. And finally, if you are a software company, or if you're a dealership that have your own website, your own inventory management, and you would like to remotely access all the photos, you don't want to log in, download, upload them, then API is what you guys want to use. So here you can just easily copy and paste, copy your password. We automatically generate a username and password for API. We have blurred it here because that's the API for the sample, but this is how easy you guys can have your username password exclusively for your account, and also how you're going to be able to get the instruction on how to use it. This is really for developers and software engineers to be able to use it most of the time. So with that said, I think we have finished the review of the capture. We have separate videos, as I mentioned, for the video, social media, and car reviews, which you guys can review. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. We release about 1 video per week. That is not necessarily about just our software. It's also about what is important in the industry, and tips and tricks on photography that even if you are not interested in our software, you're not using it, you probably can benefit from the other ones. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.